Hi guys, welcome to this video where we're going to discuss the modern fundamentals for taking your stance and setup with the driver.
And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because we're going to show you how to set up like the modern Tour Pro.
Okay, so the first thing we want to look at when we're analysing a Tour professional setup with their driver is how much they are or aren't tilting their spine away from the target.
So what we mean by spine, and you guys and girls at home can see the spine when you're setting up with the driver and I, is the dead straight line between the centre of my shoulders through to the centre of my pelvis. So this dead straight line we like to reference and call it the virtual spine. We're going to reference that quite a lot in future videos. And as Harry just alluded to, with both an iron and a driver, the virtual spine should be 90 degrees, whereas a lot of people will be taught to tilt the spine away from the target at setup, which is completely incorrect. Let's dive into the 3D systems now, Harry, and have a little look at how some Tour pros set up to their driver.
Yeah. Okay, so in this visual here on our 3D system, we can clearly see that this golfer, who is actually a former world #1 player, has their virtual spine at 90 degrees with their driver swing on the left and both their iron swing on the right. We see this with every single Tour professional that we look at on our 3D system, which really shows you that you don't want to be trying to tilt that spine away from the target at setup.
So Harry, why do golfers try and tilt their spine back at setup then? So why does it, when you look at a European or PGA Tour player, they look like their spine is tilted away from target? Why is that?
Well, the reason is because it's the visual of their shoulders. So when you look at a Tour professional setup, you'll often see their right shoulder is quite significantly lower than their left shoulder. But as we've seen, that's not a result of trying to tilt the spine back. It's actually much more to do with the fact that when you take your setup position, your right hand is going to be extended out towards the golf ball a lot more than the left. Now, the result of extending this right hand out towards the ball is the shoulders will actually be slightly open for the average Tour professional. They're not square, which you'll often see advised. They are a little bit open. And what happens is, because we play golf bent over, as you open your shoulders a little bit, you'll see how my right shoulder is then going to go a little bit beneath my left shoulder at setup, which gives you the visual that the shoulders are tilting back, but as we saw, not the spine.
Absolutely, and there's various disadvantages, isn't there, to trying to tilt your spine away from target, one of which is the weight distribution at setup.
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm here and I'm trying to tilt my shoulders back, and then as a consequence of that tilting my spine, I'm going to have way too much pressure or weight on my right foot at setup.
That's taught quite a lot, isn't it?
It is, and actually what we see is Tour professionals tend to set up with a little bit of weight on their left foot at setup, and that gives them something nice to push off on the backswing in order to shift the weight over to the right.
Absolutely. Another one would be, if you get yourself set up again, Harry, if you get the spine tilted perfectly, if you were to try and rotate now the way the spine's working, you see a lot of that, the lack of extension or thoracic extension up into the top of the backswing. So it affects a huge amount of things. That's going to massively affect strike, speed, distance control, et cetera, et cetera. So there's various disadvantages to that, isn't there? Yeah,
absolutely.
So Harry, let me show you one of my favourite drills when it comes to setting up with driver. So I'm going to stand up upright, my button on my shirt, belt buckle isn't up here, my button on my shirt is fully aligned or straight over my belt buckle. I'm going to bend over, keeping them over one another. I'm going to then grip with my right hand, and that's me set up. Yeah, I'm not forcibly trying to put some spine tilt in here to try and hit up on the golf ball. I'm keeping them aligned, bend over, keep aligned. Right hand underneath left, and you can see my chest is pretty much pointing towards you now. It's not pointing towards the golf ball. Yeah,
absolutely. And that is one thing to take into account, is that you will have a little bit more shoulder tilt with the driver than you will do the irons, because the torso or your shoulders are a little bit more open. This is a result of ball position. So by moving the ball position further forward with the driver than you will do with the iron, you'll see a little bit more open with the shoulders and a little bit more tilting of the shoulders. Liam, where are you feeling the weight underneath your feet there?
I'm feeling it pretty neutral, maybe favouring the left foot. I'm definitely going to try and push off my left foot to get into my backswing, but I'm definitely not feeling that on my right foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm certainly not feeling my pressure, my weight, or my mass on my right foot there set up. Definitely not.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that is one of our favourite drills in order to stop you from tilting your spine away from the target. If you do that, we can guarantee you're going to hit your drives better. They're going to go straighter and they're going to go further.